Hi everyone, my name is Elgin and welcome back to another project review. I hope everyone is doing fantastic. Today we are going to deep dive into Penrith and pull out all the numbers to analyze this project. Now, Penrith is a launch you should look out for, especially if you want a super accessible location right in the prime city fringe area of Queenstown. But Penrith does have very credible resale competitors like your Stirling residences, your Queen's Peak, your Commonwealth Towers, and Margaret View. And with significant price differences of more than $300,000, how does it stack up against the resale competitors? Should you buy Penrith or should you go for the resale options? Let's find out. Firstly, these are the project details. The development is led by Hong Leong together with Land as a joint venture partner. Penrith is in District 3, a city fringe project along Margaret Drive. There will be a total of 462 units spread between two towers of 40 stories each. We have 2 to 4 bedroom unit types to choose from, and land size is approximately 103,000 square feet. There will be an early childhood development center within Penrith, so from kindergarten to primary school, it will be extremely convenient for parents to drop off and pick up your kids. There will be a total of 376 car park lots, giving it 81% provision, which is actually very decent for a project located within walking distance to the MRT. The expected handover date is in April 2029 on a non-committal basis because officially the TOP date is in April 2031. Architect is familiar to us, ADDP, who has worked with Land for projects like Lentor Modern and Martin Modern. Next up, the unit mix. 2 bedrooms make up 33% of the total units, while 3 and 4 bedrooms make up the balance of 67%, with 3 bedders at 42% and 4 bedders at 25%. It is important to know this as 3 and 4 bedders are mainly for own-stay buyers, which typically have stronger holding power, and resale buyers for this segment tend to buy more on a needs basis rather than purely looking at numbers. So surrounding projects, we have 5 projects near Penrith, with Queens being the oldest development and Stirling Residences being the latest project that recently obtained its TOP. We will go in depth into the numbers for the younger projects such as Stirling, Commonwealth Towers, Queen's Peak, and Margaret View later on. Because if you are going to pay more for a new project, then you ought to pick the right one. So next up, the locational attributes of Penrith. Most of us will be familiar with Queenstown because it is always in the news for record-breaking HDB resale prices. There are at least 3 hawker centers nearby. Very important if you are a foodie like me, because you don't have to travel far to get good food. To get to Queenstown MRT, it is a 4 minutes walk, and it is also a sheltered walk, which only 2 out of 5 resale projects here have. So Penrith is also close to business hubs such as your One North, Mediapolis, CBD, and your MBFC, Marina Bay Financial Centre. And to wind down during the weekends, you can head on to Orchard, which is just 5 minutes drive away. So from the master plan, the road along Market Drive leading to Tanglin Road will be closed off and become a cul-de-sac. This is positive news as it will reduce the traffic flow in the area and make it less congested. But not to worry, there will be a new road that will link you to Tanglin Road to get to Orchard. So being north-south facing, you won't have any issues of direct afternoon sun here. Towards the north, you have pretty much unblocked views for the time being because there is a piece of land with a 2.1 plot ratio, which can actually go up to 24 stories. Towards the south, you will be overlooking some of the HDB clusters. So these are the views you can expect from the north and south facing. North is looking towards the city area, towards Orchard and Dempsey, while the south will be towards Alexandra. This is the site plan for Penrith. So for a small land size, I was quite surprised to see the developers put in a tennis court. There will also be a childcare center over here at number 13 with a separate drop-off area. The main pickup and drop-off area is at number 1. The distance between the 2 blocks internally is approximately 60 to 65 meters, so that still offers quite good privacy. And from blocks 72 to the nearest HDB block, the distance is approximately 45 meters. As the site coverage is less than 50%, some of these facilities will be spread across the first story, second story, and the roof gardens of both blocks. So moving on to the floor plans, there are two types of two-bedroom units. First one, 2 bed and 1 bath at 614 square feet. The kitchen is tucked away in one corner, king bed in the master bedroom and queen bed in the common room. So the second type is the 2 bed and 2 bath at 678 square feet. This is a efficient dumbbell layout, and the kitchen is also flush to the corner, king bed in the master bedroom and queen bed in the common bedroom as well. So next up, we have 4 types of 3-bedroom layouts. The first one is the compact 786 square feet layout, king bed in MBR and queen beds in the common rooms. All the toilets in the 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom units will have windows for ventilation, even for the smallest toilet. So kitchen is also enclosable with window to ventilate your heavy cooking too. So next up is the 850 square feet, where you get upgraded space in the kitchen, living, dining, and the master bedroom areas. So next up are the larger 3-bedroom premium units that will give you a storeroom and a third toilet, which also has a window. The main differences between these two 3-bedder premium layouts are that the 1066 square feet will give you a bigger MBR with a walk-in wardrobe, a bigger kitchen, and a wider living and dining room area. So moving on, these are the two layouts for the 4 bedrooms. The common room sizes are similar with the 2 and 3 bedrooms, good enough to put in queen beds. For the storerooms in the 4-bedder layouts, there is a window for ventilation. All common rooms will fit queen beds, and the master bedroom will have a walk-in wardrobe. The main differences between these two layouts are that for the bigger 1281 square feet layout, you have a longer entrance walkway and a landscape living dining area with a bigger balcony space. So efficiency-wise, I would pick the 1173 square feet layout. Now let's compare Penrith with the resale options out there. For Penrith, the land was acquired at 1154 per square foot per plot ratio. Break-even is estimated at $2,026 per square foot. And if we factor in a 25% profit margin, the PSF is around $2,700. Alright, so I will be using $2,700 for the estimated average price for Penrith. So first up is Margaret View. So by the time Penrith TOPs in 2029, Margaret View will be 8 years old. This is also the furthest away from the MRT, about an 8 to 10 minute walk, and it also has the smallest land size at 52,000 square feet. Therefore, it has a higher density than Penrith at 5.97 units per 1,000 square feet of land. So these are the median prices transacted at Margaret View currently. I also included the harmonized PSF and a revert to a fresh 99-year lease prices based on straight line prorated calculation. So how do we read these numbers? Let's say if you are choosing between these two projects today, the 3-bedroom at Margaret View currently is 344K cheaper than Penrith, and on a PSF basis, it is $447 PSF cheaper. However, if we compare it based on harmonized PSF and fresh 99-year lease, the difference is much lower at $239 per square foot and $70 per square foot respectively. Over here, this is the performance of Margaret View. It enjoyed a 70% appreciation in prices for its first owners, which also makes it the lowest among the resale options. So let's also take a look at the 3-bedroom layout at Margaret View. So this is 969 square feet, a non-harmonized layout, meaning you'll be paying for the aircon latch space. So first glance, you would notice that there is an oversized balcony spanning the width of the living room and kitchen. There is also a tight squeeze for the queen beds in the common rooms. And one of the common room is just right beside the aircon latch as well. Not so ideal. Alright. Next up is Commonwealth Towers, which will be 12 years young in 2029. This is doorstep to MRT, very popular with tenants and for own stay demand. With 845 units on a larger land size of 130,000 square feet, its density is higher than Penrith at 6.49. So if you buy a 3-bedroom unit at 1033 square feet in Commonwealth Towers, it would be cheaper by $198,000 in quantum and by $445 in per square foot terms. And again, if we were to compare it on an equal footing, the difference drops to $237 per square foot in harmonized pricing, and Commonwealth Towers will be more expensive on a fresh 99-year lease basis. So the first owners at Commonwealth Towers also enjoyed good capital appreciation of over 36%. And this is the 3-bedroom layout at Commonwealth Towers at 1033 square feet, a non-harmonized layout as well. But this is the most efficient 3-bedder layout in Commonwealth Towers. Balcony is also quite big. There is also a separate yard space in addition to a utility room and a third toilet. So it looks a bit squeezy, this layout at the back there. So this also compromises the space in the bedrooms as well. So the third resale condo is Queen's Peak. This will be 8 years old in 2029 and it is also doorstep to Queenstown MRT. 736 units here and the land size is pretty close to Penrith at 113,000 square feet. This also gives it a higher density than Penrith at 6.5 units per 1,000 square feet of land. So the price difference for the 3-bedroom unit is that Queen's Peak is cheaper by $177,000 in quantum or $352 per square foot. However, the price advantage for Queen's Peak drops to $138 per square foot in terms of harmonization, and it loses the price advantage on a fresh 99-year lease basis comparison. So it will actually be $112 PSF more expensive than Penrith. So let's take a look at the 3-bedder layout at Queen's Peak at 1001 square feet. This is a non-harmonized layout. It features a big balcony that can't be zip-tied because of the curvature. So common rooms can only fit in single beds. There is also an open kitchen and oversized aircon ledge. So not super ideal. I mean, if you were to compare it to the harmonized 3-bedder layout at Penrith. So the last resale condo that we want to compare against is Stirling Residences. This is also Penrith's strongest competitor as it is the youngest among the resale developments at 7 years young in 2029. It has the biggest land size at 227,000 square feet and it also has better layout than the other resale projects. Stirling has the most number of units at 1,255 units and it also has a higher density than Penrith. Thus far, Penrith has the lowest density among the resale projects we compare it against. So Stirling is about 5 minutes walk to the MRT, unsheltered walk. So using its 3-bed 2-bath for comparison, the quantum is just 50k apart from Penrith, and it loses that price advantage when compared using the harmonized PSF and the fresh 99-year lease PSF. So similar to Commonwealth Towers and Queen's Peak, Stirling Residences' first owners enjoyed good capital appreciation of 35%. Next, let's take a look at the Stirling Residences 3-bedroom 1001 square feet layout. So this is a non-harmonized layout. You have a enclosed kitchen, a storeroom, and the balcony and the aircon ledge are quite big in size, but overall it still has the best layout among the resale options. So now moving on, let's just do a little projection. Let's say property prices appreciate by the same 5-year average inflation percentage of 1.58%, while you have locked in Penrith at $2,700 per square foot. So in 2029, Stirling Residences would command a higher PSF of $2,879. Queen's Peak will still be cheaper, but by $25 per square foot only, while the other two projects will have a price advantage of $140 per square foot. So these are the profit and profit margins made in these 4 resale projects for the 2 to 4 bedroom unit types. So in terms of profit margins, Commonwealth Towers and Stirling Residences are more superior. which in my opinion can be attributed to their better unit layouts. When it comes to buying new launches, you do have to consider several factors, especially if you are into capital appreciation, because numbers do not lie, and we have to actually go along with what the majority of the buyers want. Let's also update ourselves on the macro demand and supply. So population-wise, Singapore is looking to increase the number of citizens and PRs to 4.3 to 4.4 million by the year 2030. And in the last 3 years, the number of citizens increased by 140,000, which is an average of 46,000 annually. So if we divide it by a sample household size of 3.1, then we will need at least 14,000 new homes each year to cater for this increase. So is that why we are building so many BTOs and why recent new launches have been enjoying strong take-up rates so far? Now, in terms of new supply, we will see 11,000 and almost 12,000 units of ECs and private new launches TOP in 2027 and 2028 respectively, and that will taper off significantly in 2029 with slightly over 4,000 units. Now, would the supply from the year 2029 onwards, be sufficient to cater for the annual increase in population? As with every project, there are pros and cons associated with it. So for Penrith, some of the positive pointers are that firstly, it is the first harmonized project in Queenstown and it has layouts that are more efficient than its resale peers. So you'll not be paying for the aircon latch and there will be no oversized balcony, at least in Penrith. Therefore, you'll be getting more space in your bedrooms and your living room areas. So number two, this is also less than 5 minutes walk to the MRT and there is no MRT noise. So for those projects that are doorstep to Queenstown MRT, such as Commonwealth Towers and Queen's Peak, residents there will experience some track noise even for the higher floors of more than 30 stories high. They will still get some track noise. So for those residents, for buyers who prefer quieter facing, then Penrith would be an obvious choice. So point number three, there is a primary school right beside the project and a childcare center within the premises. So I think, like I mentioned earlier, this is very important if parents want to have a peace of mind because it is just very convenient to drop off your kids, and if they want to go to school themselves or come home from the primary school, it is just so convenient. They do not even have to cross the road to do so. So number four, superb convenience and location. So just being 4 minutes walk to Queenstown MRT, you can get on the East-West line that will take you directly to Tanjong Pagar MRT, Raffles Place, and to One North Business Hub and your second CBD in Jurong East. So number five, Penrith is located in a prime HDB estate that has produced top $1 million resale flat transactions. I think I do not have to elaborate on this because these transactions are reported in the news, very frequently. So some of the cons that are associated with Penrith, this sits on a relatively small land size with a multi-story car park. So for buyers who prefer full-on basement car park, Penrith may not be their first choice. So number two, there are no popular primary schools within a 1 km radius. Number three, there are no major transformations as well because Queenstown is a mature estate. Alright, so some of the major transformations you might see would be in the CBD and of course in Orchard, where the government is trying to rejuvenate these areas to entice more people to go during the weekends. Number four will be the potentially high entry prices. This will limit your potential for capital appreciation. So this is the price matrix for Penrith with the starting PSF up to $2,900 per square foot. Prices might go up to $3,100 per square foot, which is quite rich in my opinion. And I think this would actually be achievable, especially for the high floor units. And next, these are the expected monthly installments based on the 75% LTV, 1.5% interest rate, and a 30-year loan tenor. Finally, to wrap things up, Penri does make a very compelling case being the last land plot that is near Queenstown MRT, and there is also a 7-year gap between the last launch, which was Stirling Residences back in 2018. So would that create pent-up demand for Penrith? We have also compared Penrith using various metrics against the resale options out there, and it does give us clarity in terms of numbers on whether buying Penrith or the resale projects would make a better choice. If you'd like to have a further in-depth analysis, or if you are comparing against Sky at Holland or other projects out there and you require more clarity, do feel free to reach out to me at my number listed here, and I'll be happy to assist. Lastly, if you found the content helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button because it takes a lot of time and effort to make a video like this. In the meantime, take care and I'll see you in the next one.